All right, good morning, everybody. We did have a little bit of data this morning. Let me take a look at that. They actually moved some of the data, I noticed. Like, when we looked at the data or the calendar on Monday, there was way more data coming out today. There was the GDP data and the PCE data that was supposed to come out today, and they moved that, so that's not coming out. So we only had unemployment claims, which is 216 over 226. We had core durable goods at 0.6 over 0.2, so much better than expected. Durable goods at 0.5, exactly as expected. Chicago PMI at 9:45 and Beige Book at 2 p.m. And obviously tomorrow and Friday are holidays. Friday is a half day. You guys can trade it if you want. I do not recommend it. Okay, with that out of the way, let's take a look at our trade plan from last night. I said holding above 791 or below 791 was the decider there. So holding above 816, 870, holding below 767 and 719. 67 was basically the POC. We are kind of hitting our first target at 816. We're going to keep it there. And then we have a level at 870. There's not really anything in between that we could target. You could pull this overnight low, and you could say like 41 if you want to. But realistically, that old value flip that we were watching around the 70s, that's kind of the target there. So right now we have another micro pullback. We have a D-shaped profile at the top of a trend day. We have a slight bullish bias, obviously. Okay, so for NASDAQ, we are looking at holding above 25,000 is basically the value high of yesterday. The micro pullback on NASDAQ is a bit higher than you typically want to see on these micro pullbacks. You typically want them to overlap in value. But right now, it's not really overlapping. It's kind of continuing that trend. Keep an eye on 25,308. That's our first target. And then 380 would be the second target. Those are very old value levels going back. Well, not very old, but a couple weeks. And then to the downside, holding below that value high, we're going to look for that POC and that value low, which is around 860 and 715. Coming up on that point of origin, which is the overnight high at 810. Keep an eye on the reaction here. So far, reaction is pretty bullish. Good morning, everybody. Wanatachi, Ordinary, Backpacking. TS, Banana, Future, Marcel. Good morning, Morris, Jose, AT, JC, Roman. Good morning, Lubomir. Good morning, Pi. Music, LDT, Bailey. Yeah, there is no free Discord. It's the first link in every single description to find the Discord. Larry, Igor, Sire, Tamer. Ask, Lucio. Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Funk, Riso, Greg. Good morning, Leo, Ike. Liquidated Nitro. Good morning, Power. Ganesh, Orion, Victor. Kobe. Appreciate you guys being here. Good morning. Basically, happy Friday, because it is the end of the week for most people. Bailey, take a look at the website. Everything is included in Discord. Good morning, Trevor. Good morning, eBay. Yeah, tomorrow is obviously a holiday, guys. Even if you don't celebrate, it's a holiday for the markets. So you'll get the day off anyway. And Friday is a half day, which is basically just an extension of the holiday. And I would recommend not trading on Friday either, because typically the price action on half days is a little bit weird. So I would basically recommend that today is your Friday. Today is your end of your week, and then come back on Monday. Like I said, even if you don't celebrate it, it is a holiday for the markets, so you need to take the time off. Still seeing a lot of bullish delta here, trying to hold outside of that micro pullback. Keep an eye on 308 for NASDAQ coming up pretty soon. ES is hitting our first target, filling in that incomplete auction from a couple of weeks ago. Next level would be that overnight low if you're looking at it around 40. but all the main levels are kind of around 70. Which would be a pretty big move from here. Morning, Joan. So far, not liking that 16 level. They hit the target and they're not building any value whatsoever above that level. You can see that's almost exactly where that fall off is. Strong sell-off on NASDAQ here. Keep an eye on VWAP 186. VWAP on ES is 801. No, I don't sell my template. It's just a part of Discord. So if you're a Discord member, you just go to my templates channel and it's on there. I also talk about my settings on the most recent video I uploaded. Not the Q&A one, but the actual video. And they also have an older version of my template in the official Discord. But it's not this updated one. But no, I don't sell it. Bouncing off VWAP on NASDAQ, but you are still putting it in lower highs here. Good morning, Joe. We'll see how the volume's trading today. People might be taking this as a partial holiday as well. What was our volume on the open of yesterday? Let's see. Uh, 221, 170, 150. Yeah, so a little over 200, then it dropped off pretty quickly. We'll see what it trades at today. It's about on track to be 200. We have a little bit of data coming out as well, so. Here's that Chicago PMI data coming out. Yeah, this whole screen is Addis. Yep, that's correct. It's all personal preference. I think order flow, if you guys already know volume profile and you're very in tune with volume analysis, I think it's definitely a bonus. It's something that will definitely help you. But if you don't fully grasp volume profile, then learning order flow is a lot harder, which is what I talk about in my new series. That's why I teach the volume profile for the longest in the entire series, like a 2-hour video, before we go into order flow, right? So you guys need to fully understand volume analysis, volume profile analysis to get into at least my style of order flow. There's other styles of order flow where you're just staring at a bunch of tapes and DOMs. I'm more of the footprint style. There's more of like a scalping style where you're just watching quite literally the order flow. All those orders coming in. I don't make any Reddit posts, Bailey, so you might have me confused with somebody else. And you might be thinking of somebody else because you said you watched my videos a lot, but you didn't know about my Discord, you didn't know about Addis, so you might not be thinking about me. Because I talk about Discord and Addis in pretty much every single video and stream. And I definitely do not make Reddit posts. I hate I hate that place. morning, Michael. If you guys are ever wondering about targets, just take a look at my trade plan. It's always pinned in chat. Well, cumulative delta is on my chart, so I do look at it, but it's not as powerful as it used to be. Hey, Jannar, good morning. Good morning, Builds. So one thing to look at here is we had that strong sell-off on NASDAQ. It pulled back to VWAP, basically bounced off VWAP like to the tick, bounced a little bit early. But you didn't really have that significant pullback on ES. It pulled back to the 24 EMA, then pretty much bounced immediately. So ES is kind of holding you up here. Keep an eye on the 80 EMA. You're holding above it every single candle. Yeah, I've seen other people have made Reddit posts about me. They've posted about me in like the futures Reddit or whatever. But I don't think I've ever made a post about myself. So if there's like an account that's pretending to be me, it's not me. I don't really do social media, as you guys have seen. I post my live streams on Twitter, and that's about it. Yeah, I've had people talking about me, and thankfully it's in a good way. So I appreciate that. If anybody in here is making posts, that's cool. As long as you're not impersonating me and trying to pretend like it's me making the post, I don't mind. Okay, so like I was saying, this zone up here, there's not really obvious levels. So you can climb from 15 up to kind of like 70 to 80 without hitting a major level. We do have an overnight low around 41. I don't usually consider the overnight levels major levels after that day. It's a major level for that current day, but afterwards they're not very important. So 41 and then kind of around 70 to 80. This micro pullback is slightly bullish. Keep an eye on 308 and 380. Come on, Gary. Come on, crypto. there is a lot of limit selling up here. You can tell there's a lot of limit selling because we are seeing these like small pullbacks, but we're not seeing a lot of delta, like bearish delta. And that's because the delta is being skewed because there's so much limit selling, which turns into bullish delta, right? Because the delta is buying into those limit traders. So it is a little bit skewed. But we can see they're applying pressure to the market. And like, look at, we dropped like 10 points already. But our delta's barely moving. So there is a lot of limit selling, not a ton of market selling here. Yeah, we're in kind of a scary territory here. Because this could just be a lower high on the macro timeframes. This could be like a bear flag on the higher timeframes, and we still could be pretty bearish on the overall trend. We did hold on to that weekly trail so far. Trading views being very slow this morning. It just flickered on my other screen. If it wants to load anytime today, that'd be cool. Well, it's not loading, but the weekly trail is basically right here. It's like basically right on where that candle is. So we did bounce off of that weekly trail. And that's like the last macro support right now. Jin, I would recommend watching my Becoming an Apex Trader series. We talked about that in the last video. If anybody is in here, if you guys don't understand the concepts that I'm teaching, that new series that we just finished up is perfect for you. Watch the Becoming an Apex Trader series. Is a 5-part series. It will get you up to speed with pretty much everything that I teach on stream. There's also 5 Q&A videos that are just like a little bonus on top of all those videos. So it's a 10 video series that we just put out. Come on, Aroma. Keep an eye on VWAP here. VWAP at 805. Also at 196 on NASDAQ. You're being pushed down mostly by limit sellers here. Like I said, you can tell because the delta is not obviously bearish. Yeah, Bailey, like I said, if you're new here or you're trying to catch up, watch the Becoming an Apex Trader series. I just put it out. It's brand new. It's probably my most in-depth series that I've done in many years. That is meant to be the starting point. And also, if you guys don't have a lot of time, watch my shorts. There's a ton of YouTube shorts that I put out. We were pumping those out. I think it was like the start of the year. And then we took a break, started making the long form videos. Here's VWAP, by the way. Yeah, we were pumping those shorts out like 5 a week for a while. So be sure to check those out. We're going to get back into those shorts after the holidays here. Good morning, Chad. Keep an eye on VWAP here, trying to act like support. I don't know if it's my internet or my Addis. It might be my internet because TradingView is also lagging for me. Are you guys having data issues or is it just on my end? Oh, it is on my end. Yep, never mind. My stream is also lagging. Well, if I disappear, it looks like my internet is going down, so that is why. So far, we're green right now, but it is flickering a little bit. Losing VWAP here, going back into that rotation, looking for that value low, which is pretty much already hit, I believe. Yeah, here's the value low on NASDAQ. And very close to the value low on ES, coming down to 95. And that right there is what I'm talking about with like the limit selling, right? You did not see a lot of bearish delta, but you did see the bullish delta not really getting what they wanted. They weren't quite being absorbed, but there was a lot of pushback. There was a lot of pushback on that delta, but we were not seeing it on the bearish side. It's because those sellers were pushing it down more responsively than aggressively. Now it looks aggressive, obviously. It's dropping like a rock, holding below that ADMA the whole time. But the delta does not confirm that. The delta does not say that there is a ton of market selling here. Rotation has been completed, very standard for a micro pullback. They tried to break balance. They tried to stay above that ADMA. It failed. Failed the ADMA right here, failed the 24 and VWAP right here, and then failed the last VWAP right there. And then this was the rotation. Once again, you can see that limit selling because look at all this delta coming in. You have so much bullish delta coming in, so they have all these limit sell orders to buy into. So very responsive selling going on. Possibly a bear flag into the daily VWAP. Keep an eye on the daily VWAP at 812. 222 on NQ. I wouldn't do anything really, Dennis. I basically would just stare at the chart. And I've been streaming while I've been full-time for pretty much the entire time. So yeah, the streams always kind of filled the void for me. Like way back in the day, if it was like really slow, I'd play like video games, but I don't really play games too much anymore. I'd watch videos, I'd watch streams. Yeah, for the most part, I just kind of sit and wait. Unless it's like brutally slow where I'm like literally falling asleep at the desk. Yeah, the stream has always really filled the void for me, which is one of the main reasons why I started it back in the day. Was I wanted like a journal that I could go back and listen to. I needed something to do to keep my brain active, right? Yeah, I was only full time for about 2 to 3 years before starting the what was a journal in the beginning. It wasn't really a stream. Because in the beginning I didn't really have anybody watching me, right? And then people started picking up on my stream. I did it for like 20 to 30 viewers for a long time. Then it turned into like 100, 200 people, right? Yeah, the stream, the Discord, it keeps me active. It keeps me paying attention. Yeah, when it gets really slow, you want to do something that like keeps you active, but you can like still pay attention. Maybe that's like work on the side or like I said, like a small game or something. I don't know, something. Watch a video. By the way, volume is pretty low. So that opening candle is a lot lower than yesterday. Should add a vertical stream. I don't even know where to begin with that, to be honest. I don't know how to turn my current stream into a vertical stream. Because there's so many things to look at. Like, how would I turn this into a small stream? You know what I mean? Or an XB, one Mauser. So right now we have a potential bear flag into VWAP. It's just a very small one. You didn't really push away from VWAP before selling back into it. Or selling off of it, I should say. This could just be a rotation as well, basically rotating back to the value high, which currently is around like 816 to 815-ish. Yeah, around 813 is the full session. So right now we are just rotating. Very standard for a micro pullback, as we discussed in our trade plan. A little bit of a wall here, I believe. Looks like there's a wall here. There was a small wall there. It did get taken out. Wasn't trading that much. About 1,500 contracts. Hey, Chad, no problem, man. Happy to hear that. Hey, it's awesome to hear, Chad. Keep an eye on VWAP here. VWAP at 811. You do have a slight failure of that VWAP, but it's more so just a rotation. You're failing the rotation level. The value high is that same area as that VWAP. So here you can see what I was talking about, a little bit of a bear flag into VWAP, but it's also right around that value high. So you could argue that it's just a rotation. They are both pushing back down to the value low. If you guys are just coming in, like I said earlier, I will not be streaming tomorrow or Friday because of the holiday. Friday is tradable. It is a half day. I just don't recommend trading it. So basically treat today as like it was the end of the week. Volume is quite low as well, so a lot of people are probably already taking the holiday. So even if you were seeing this as a small bear flag in a VWAP, it's kind of already hitting your prior low target, that cluster of candles that creates that low. Now, because this one was so small, it was only like 5-10 points maybe. But it's mostly just a rotation, rotating back down to the value low here. If it does begin to hold below like 804, 802, that becomes an extension of that bear flag in a VWAP, not so much a rotation. It starts to sell a bit more there. But so far, that micro pullback on the pre-market is showing the exact same pattern on the cash market here. You can see there's been almost no change from the pre-market. You went up a little bit, you tried for higher value, and it failed. If it does get very weak, it has swept the overnight high. Typically when that happens, you want to test that lower portion as well. So keep an eye on that if it does start to hold below that value low. I believe we did leave open some single prints yesterday. going back down to 742. So if it gets very bearish today, that would be the obvious magnet kind of pulling you back down. They have been leaving open a ton of single prints, but as we can see, they're doing a great job filling them in over the next day or two. You're doing what we did yesterday, but this time you're doing it bearishly. Yesterday was bullishly, where instead of completing that full rotation, you're starting a rotation between the value low and VWAP. So instead of rotating normally, which is value low, value high, it's doing that half rotation where it's hitting VWAP going back down, VWAP going back down. Very typical for holiday price action, too. It's their favorite pattern going into or trading on holidays when the market is like semi-open. That like micro pullback kind of balanced profile. You just don't have the volume. You don't have the traders to break balance. And typically when you do see a break of balance from a holiday or around a holiday, it typically gets retested. The market doesn't trust it too much. What day of the week is Christmas on this time? It's a Thursday, so that one's also going to be weird. So we'll treat Christmas the same way, where Thursday and Friday are basically no trades. I believe Wednesday is a half day. Let me double check. Is Christmas Eve a half day? I always forget. Yeah, it is. So Wednesday's a half day. And then I believe Friday is probably a half day as well. Let me see. No, actually, I think Friday is just a normal trading day. Funny enough. So half day on Christmas Eve, Christmas is off, and then Friday's back to normal. I will most likely be taking that Friday off. We'll see. Like I said, still doing that half rotation, keeps hitting VWAP, value low, VWAP, value low. Very bottom heavy on the value low because of most likely because we swept that overnight high. So it's trying to push back towards that overnight low. Kind of have that magnet pulling you down. I would think they don't care at this point, Ordinary, to be honest. That has been going on for so long now. How long's it been? Like 2 years? I think like every scenario has been priced in at this point. You'll obviously always have the short-term moves. Like if that headline comes out and it's like a real thing, it will probably be bullish short-term, I would guess. But I don't think it will have a lasting effect on the market. It's just been going on for so long. Look at how fast the market stopped caring about the Israel-Iran crisis. How long ago was that? A couple months ago? The market prices in stuff like that very quickly, and then it forgets about it very quickly as well. I don't really think I have enough content to make a video out of that. Literally all I do is I just watch this calendar right here. I'm not a big macroeconomic guy, so there's not much I can tell you about stuff like that. All I do is I watch that calendar and I watch the headlines. You guys can follow my news feed on Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, go to my list. And there's a list called news. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a macro guy, so I don't give these like in-depth talks about what's going on around the world. As a trader, I just don't care. It doesn't affect my trading. I'm not taking big swing trades or trades that depend on geopolitics or macroeconomic stuff. I'm staring at rectangles, right? I basically hold nothing overnight. Unless it's one of our trades that we talked about with like that accumulation pattern. Sometimes we do like quarterly plays. Obviously my like retirement stuff, long-term accounts. But as far as like my managed portfolios, I don't hold anything overnight. Still doing that half rotation thing where it keeps hitting VWAP or the POC and coming back down. Yeah, we're back to the value high this time, so we finally finished a full rotation. We'll see if it can stay above like 17 to 18. Oh, it's been 3 years. Wow. Yeah, time's flying. I still remember that. I think it was February, right? It was February, I believe, when the initial invasion happened. And I remember the markets were tanking. I think that was a rough time for the stream because you guys know how I feel about perma bears and people that just constantly warmonger and fearmonger and they just push this negativity. And when stuff like that happens, people just panic and it's just nothing but negativity, just constantly. So it was like a daily basis. I had to stop that shit in the chat. And if I remember correctly, it was just a bad time. Don't worry, there will be more conflicts. It will keep happening. That's just the way of the human race. Trading is just a lot about mindset, right? You don't want to be constantly negative all the time, on tilt. You're just going to trade poorly. And a lot of that stuff kind of breeds it. I remember trading around the Israel-Iran stuff was really hard because of same thing with Ukraine and Russia. It's like where they are in the world compared to the U.S. Time zones. You're like staying up all night checking what's going on, like checking all the news, trying to see how the markets are going to react. But that's like 12 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, you know what I mean? Just a completely different time zone. Then the markets finally open in the US, you get that late reaction. Volatility goes crazy. Volume is not terrible. It's not like untradeable, but it's definitely lower than what it should be. Yeah, our liquidity is not terrible right now. As prices going up, it's actually getting better. Trading about like 30 to 50 contracts per tick. Hey, Future, have a good one, man. Enjoy your time off, enjoy your holiday. Yeah, I think some people in chat were saying Top Step was crashing. I think their system is down. If you guys are using Top Step, be careful. They're going to send an email and say all trades this session don't count. Have they done that before? I guess that would be a good thing if you were losing. But people who are winning are not going to be happy. Does that only count for losing trades or winning trades too? Last time it counted for both. Gotcha. Yeah, Solo, that's why I was asking, because Apex used to do that, but it was only for the losing trades. If you pass the challenge with the trade, it counted, but otherwise, no. Gotcha. Back into a downer rotation here. Needs to go back down to around 802, 805 if it wants to finish. Very standard micro pullback here. Very typical around holidays. Like their favorite holiday pattern. Could be a very large bulldog if it does fail to rotate. You could argue this is the head of the bulldog if it turns into a bull flag into VWAP. VWAP is acting as support here. Could lead to a failure to rotate back to the upside. We'll see what it does here. No, Alex, this is not a signal group. If you do not see a bullish reaction off of VWAP, it's not that bulldog I was talking about. It's more so a rotation back down to 02 to 04. Still seeing the responsive selling that we saw earlier. So if you remember earlier, we had that strong sell-off. Look at the delta, barely even budged, right? You typically see that when you're limit selling. Same thing here. Strong sell-off, delta barely moving. It's because there is a limit seller holding this down. The large cluster of limit selling both does not show up on the delta because there's not market orders coming in on the sell side, but also because if there's a large cluster of limit selling, that allows the buyers to buy into it, and that creates bullish delta, right? So the bullish delta is being skewed to the upside, even though price is still coming down. Good morning, Rick. Could it be bulls accumulating? It could be. And that's kind of why like I don't think about stuff like that, cuz you could make an argument for so many different things. Like you can make an argument for sellers opening, sellers closing, etc. We just don't have the full picture, so it's hard to say exactly. Yeah, they kind of have that a little bit, Rick. Like these charts are bound together. Like you can already bind them together a certain amount. Like these are bound together, these are bound together, these are all bound together. But I don't know if I can bind these to these, like make it into one thing. I haven't tried because I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, you can snap them with Windows 11, like when you grab something. Yeah, every now and then, like this window will creep higher. It will start going into my other monitor. And I have to pull it back down. But yeah, they have a little bit of snapping, just not like full snapping. I can't like put all of these together, I don't believe. Add us on Mac soon? Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, I hear you on that. They do move around slightly. You're not wrong. Like even today, you guys saw I had to fix this one. They start creeping into my other monitors is the problem. Hey AV, the Black Friday sale will be good until probably early December, and then we'll have a Christmas sale as well. The Christmas sale will probably just be a little bit lower than the Black Friday one. Black Friday is always like the highest sale of the year. It's not an update, there's a beta test. You have to be a part of the beta. There's a beta test for Mac users, which I think right now is very small. It's not a lot of people. This is the head of the bulldog that we were talking about. If you have if you had a bullish reaction on VWAP, it was a bulldog, bull flag in a VWAP. If you did not have a bullish reaction on VWAP, it was a rotation, right? So obviously with this hammer candle, you have a pretty bullish reaction on VWAP here. So now the question is, how much can we protect this upper node? So we have this node here at 19. Can they actually build a lot of delta, a lot of value above that node? Next level would be like 41, so they have a pretty far way to climb. Yeah, you can always do like the parallel thing. You could run it on Mac, even though it's technically Windows. But it's always going to give you a little bit of a delay or like a lag, or it might have issues, right? It's not designed for it. Okay, so if you were treating this as a bull flag into VWAP, same thing as a bear flag, right? You just flip it upside down. You're looking for the prior high. So prior high has been hit here. It doesn't matter if you're looking at this prior high or this prior high. They're both being hit. Now, this is the problem that we talk about with the delta. I believe I covered this in the new video. I don't remember. But when the delta is trending so aggressively in one direction and price isn't 100% following it, the longer that happens, the longer that delta is still trending in that direction, the more likely it is to pull price into that direction. The delta trend almost always wins. If it doesn't win, it's very violent. Like the failure of that is explosive. You see a massive delta shift, which we are very clearly not seeing. So keep an eye on this delta trend. It is definitely pulling price up here. And if you think about why that's happening, it's because there is an entity, or maybe a couple of entities, that are trying to hold it down. They have like massive limit sells, right? And all of these buyers, whether they be just a collective of the market itself, just all these buyers, retail, big buyers, whatever, or a couple of large buyers, maybe block trades, whatever. It's a battle of supply, right? Like, do they have enough Do they have this continuous flow of money that they can just keep selling over and over and over again? Or is that collective of buyers going to win that battle, right? Now today it's obvious the collective of buyers is winning. You're so mad about Top Step? Well, Apex is doing an 80% off sale, so you want to switch. There you go. The Addis 30-day trial, if you take a look at my description, I think it's like the second or third link, whichever one the Addis link is. If you sign up for the basic trial, send me an email. Just let me know, hey, I registered for the basic trial under your link. And then I'll get you guys extended. I'll send your information to their team, and they'll give you an extension. Here is my email if you need it. Full flag and the VWAP still holding its extension here, holding above the ADMA. No trails have been lost so far. Delta still flooding in. To the buy side, there's basically no bearish delta. Top Step X hasn't figured out how to make proper OCO orders. Yeah, I haven't used Top Step in many years, so I am not sure how bad their platform is. Hey, Ike, I appreciate that, man. Hope you enjoy your holiday. Hey, we'll see you on Monday. Hey, Marcel. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your weekend, man. We'll see you on Monday. Slow, that's not an easy answer. I can't give you like a one sentence answer on that. You would have to watch like probably my new series, The Becoming an Apex Trader. I cover many different ways, different techniques to understand like the flow of the orders and kind of what side has the bias, which side has control. Yeah, that's not an easy answer. I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked at RSI in years. I don't use RSI. Speaking of indicators, that trap into VWAP there, that bear trap, had a bunch of buy signals on the OTS trail. So if you guys know how to read traps on the indicators, both the Momo and the OTS both confirmed that trap there. 3 buy signals on the 5-minute, 3 buy signals on the 1-minute. You also had one on the 30-minute, but that was at, what time was that? That was around 10 to 10:30. Now we are breaking out of a orange pivot. Looks pretty strong. A little extended. 30-minute is definitely a bit high. Look at the large tape. Large tape is very bullish. Nearly all buy orders for the last 40 minutes. The trail of that bull flag and a VWAP trade still holding. Nothing breaking the trail, not even the ADMA. We are building an upper node here. It's just not really pushing off of it just yet. A decent node at 30. The next level is not really until 41. That's that overnight low from, what day is that? The 13th. And then above that, we have old value around like 60 to 70 from the 12th. Still not seeing a lot of bearish delta. It's just completely being hidden by how much bullish delta we have coming in, especially from these big orders. The closest platform to Addis would be NinjaTrader. But you would still have to pay for their like order flow suite if you wanted to match kind of what you're looking at. I don't believe there's like a free program that does order flow stuff. You have like Quant Tower as well. I have not used them in many years, so I can't tell you how they're doing right now. But yeah, the most recent one I used was NinjaTrader, which I've used for many years. Yeah, Tradeovate as well. Tradeovate is like a very light version, though. You can't go into like the nitty-gritty details of the order flow stuff. You can get into like the market profile. Their market profile is very good. Their tapes are good. Their DOMs are good. Their cumulative delta is good. You could do like the VWAP stuff. Like you can do most of the small stuff. You can't really do the footprint stuff. The footprint doesn't look very good on Tradeovate. It's kind of usable. Like the data's not bad, but it's not visually appealing. It's not easy to do analysis on. If you have an Apex account, you can do the Tradevate account. That would give you access to some light order flow stuff. If you do the Rhythmic account, it gives you NinjaTrader. You have light order flow stuff on that as well. But you would have to pay for the better stuff. Same thing with Quant Tower. You would have to pay, but if you have a certain broker, if you have a certain account, it gets to be cheaper or free. And then Addis, you just have to pay for Addis. And then you tie into your data, which is I use Apex. But yeah, trading is not a cheap business. It's not a cheap career. You have to pay for all the good stuff. Yeah, Tradeovate would probably be the best way to go if you're trying to go for like using an Apex account or using like your your personal account that you want to like either paper trade or just like very light trades on. Tradeovate is like the Robin. I call it the Robin Hood of like futures trading. It's very basic, but it gets you into the order flow aspect. Like it gets your foot in the door. I can't really answer that, Ranger. Still holding on to the ADMA here. Keep an eye on this 30-minute close. We're about 12 minutes away, 11 minutes away. Possibly creating single prints on the D session. No, I will not be on tomorrow or Friday, so I won't see you guys back until Monday. I personally just find it distracting, Luis. I don't like it for my trading. My style of trading only really relies on the level 1. I don't really need the level 2. Liquidity's still getting pretty damn pretty good. It's getting better. It's funny, it's getting better as price is rising. Yeah, have a good weekend. Have a good holiday. See you on Monday. Good morning, Patriot. I don't do that style of order flow trading, so I couldn't really help you with that. Look at how good the liquidity is. There's almost no level 2 orders on the tape at all. You had one level 2 order there. Yeah, I've used that style of trading for years. So watching the level 2, watching the heat maps. We used to use Bookmap and all those other programs, trading light for crypto. We even had it on Quant Tower for a little bit. We had it on ExoCharts, I believe. I don't remember. But yeah, I did that for many years. I just don't prefer it anymore. The heat map is the exact same thing as using level 2 on the DOM. It's just a different way to visualize it. The information is pretty much the exact same thing. Well, that would be the argument. The argument would be if people prefer that or they like doing that, they would say that it gives them a bonus on top of the other order flow stuff. I personally don't think so. I think it's distracting. I think it's confusing. I think it hurts more than it helps. Keep an eye on this 30-minute close. 30-minute close going down to 27. What everybody in here needs to understand is trading is very personal, right? So when you guys ask me about time frames or ask me about different indicators or different systems or whatnot, it's all personal. Some people like it, some people don't, right? Some time frames work for me, some time frames don't. Some people like lower time frames, some people like higher time frames. Some people like candlestick charts, some people like Renko and range charts. It's all personal preference. The problem with trading is traders have been taught over the years by all these influencers and mentors, whatever you want to call them, that there's like a right way and a wrong way. You've got to buy my $4,000 course and learn trading how I teach it, or you're not going to make money. So traders have this in their mind that you have to do things a certain way or you're just not going to make it. And that's just not the case. It all comes down to personal preference and what works for you. You guys basically see everything that I use. The only thing you don't see is what I have on my other monitors, which are my indicators, obviously. I have my Momo and OTS, and then I have my other charts, my bots. But everything else that I use on a daily basis, on a trade by trade basis, you guys see basically 24/7. So if it's not on this screen, and it's not one of my indicators, I'm probably not using it. I designed my indicators for a reason, right? They fill those voids, they fill those holes of like the other indicators that I don't use. Yeah, the problem with trading is it's just bad teaching, right? People have been taught incorrectly for so many years, which is why I try to fix that on my channel. I try to do things very differently here. Big reason why I don't show my trades, right? I'm not trying to create a community of drones, just mindless drones that follow signals. Rehabbing traders, yeah, pretty much. This channel is kind of a rehab for traders, you're not wrong. And if you're new here, like I said, I've said this many times, I've gone on this rant many times. If the fact that I don't show my P&L or show my trades or anything like that, if that bothers you and you want to think that I just am bullshitting and I'm fake, that's perfectly understandable. I completely understand. You don't have to watch, right? If you don't want to watch, press that X button, go find somebody else. I'm not going to lose any sleep at night. Still pretty extended on the 30-minute here. Probably by about 5 to 10 points. Higher than what it should be. Now, this type of pattern does look like a vertical distribution, but I would not say it is because you are holding above the ADMA the entire time and you are getting very good delta the entire way up. Now, we are starting to see some bearish delta finally coming in here, so this could start to turn into a vertical distribution if we keep coming back down and testing the 24 and chopping around a little bit. Keep an eye on this 30-minute close. You will have single prints going back to 25 to 27. Well, it's like I just said, Journey. All those numbers don't mean anything because it's a personal battle, right? I can understand why you guys are looking for answers like that, because I was in the beginning as well. I completely understand. But it's just a waste of my breath. It's a waste of my time to explain stuff like that, because it doesn't actually hold any value. It doesn't actually mean anything. Each person is going to be different. And I see this in my tutoring, right? I see this in my community, in my Discord. I see it in the live stream. I teach the same thing to everybody. It's not like I give people special treatment, right? But I have people that will send me messages, hey man, I just got a payout from Apex. They'll show me $5,000, $10,000, whatever. Money doesn't matter, right? But they'll show me that they're doing very well. But then I have other traders that are struggling, right? And it's like I said, it's not like I'm giving these traders that are doing well special treatment. Trading is just extremely personal. So it does not matter. I could give you a random win rate. I could give you those numbers. It will not affect you. It will not help you. Single print's going down to 27. Hey, Adrian, have a good holiday, man. We'll see you on Monday. But all right, guys, I think that's a good place to end it. We are possibly turning into a vertical distribution, like I just said. So keep an eye on this 24 EMA, both on ES and NASDAQ. If we keep chopping, barely putting in a higher high, back to the 24, rinse and repeat, then it is that vertical distribution. If it is holding below the 24 and showing lower highs, lower lows, watch that pull back into value, back into the VWAPs. That would be the obvious move for today. That would also repair the single prints going back down to 25. So keep an eye on that. Oh, yeah, Jason, I was going to email you back. They told me that you did not register. So you have to register for like just a basic account, like register for a free trial, and they can apply it onto your account. So you have to have like a basic Addis account for that giveaway. So go ahead and register for like a trial, like just a free account or whatever, and then I'll let them know. Send me an email when you register, and then I'll let them know so they can give you your giveaway. But all right, guys, that's all I got. I will be in Discord for the rest of the day. If you guys are not in Discord, I will not see you until Monday. Tomorrow's a holiday. Friday's a half day. I don't trade on half days, so I will not be streaming. So I will see you guys back on Monday. I do not recommend trading on Friday, but if you want to, you can. The market is open. Check with your prop firm. Sometimes prop firms do not count trades on holidays or on half days. I don't know 100% what Apex is doing, so I'm not going to say. So just check their website. As far as Black Friday goes, we have a Black Friday code on the website. It is Black Friday 2025, all one word. It's 40% off everything on the site. If you want to be an annual Discord member, it is annual 2025. Once again, all one word. That sale will go until probably early December, probably about first week of December. And then we'll have a promotion for Christmas as well. The Christmas promotion will be slightly less than the Black Friday one. Apex is doing an 80% off sale, and they have a special promotion on their 100K accounts. Their 100K accounts have like a very cheap activation fee. I can't remember what it is. I think it's like $10 or $20 or something crazy. But yeah, if you guys are signing up for Apex, reminder, be sure to send all those receipts to me. Just go watch any of my Becoming an Apex Trader videos. The giveaway details are at the start of the video. Make sure to follow those details. Send me all of that information to get entered in that laptop giveaway. I will be pulling that laptop winner probably at the end of next week. So I'll remind you guys every day next week, and that will be it. If you don't send it by like that Friday, you will not be entered in that giveaway. And it's a really big giveaway, guys. The laptop's a $3,500 laptop. It's the largest giveaway I've ever done on the channel. So make sure you guys are following those details to get entered in that laptop giveaway. Like I said, next Friday will be the cutoff. All right, guys, that is actually all I have. I'll see you in Discord. If you guys are not in Discord, I will see you guys on Monday. Enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your time off. Enjoy your weekend. Peace, everybody.